Hey everybody, Tim here. Today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 2, Episode 25, The Tribunal. So, to be honest, I don't think I like this episode, actually. When I was watching it, I was like, this is great! And then I was really tired, so I went to bed because I didn't want to record a tired video. And then, the more I thought about it, I was like, this episode just didn't gel with me very well. It's a really interesting concept, and I liked where they were going with it, but the overall execution of this episode, just didn't do it for me. So, first of all, it was directed by Avery Brooks, the guy that plays Sisko, and he did a great job. I didn't look it up, I probably should have, if he's directed before, but he did a really, really good job directing this episode. And so for the most part, it's all about O'Brien, and it starts out with Miles and Keiko going on vacation. Now, there's been some other episodes where they were not there, and there was they had to go to Keiko's mom's birthday or something, but we just never saw it. And so this episode was kind of interesting because we actually see them leave. And it's just kind of fun and interesting to watch. O'Brien's just addicted to work, and Keiko just wants to, focus and have fun. And immediately, they're, attacked by Cardassians, and they're like, you're being charged, come with us. And O'Brien's like, what am I being charged with? And they're like, it doesn't matter, you're coming with us. So they take O'Brien, they send Keiko back to the station. And it's just kind of interesting because in The Next Generation, we saw Picard get taken by Cardassians and saw all of those different torture methods and stuff like that. And we see a little bit of it here, but not nearly to the extent of the Chain of Command episode. But we see him stripped, and we see they cut a little bit of his hair, they pull one of his back molars, and they're just yelling at him about how he's going to be put to death. The verdict's already been determined, which is something we heard in a previous episode where Gul Dukat says the verdict is determined before they even go to court. So they're keeping with that continuity. Odo uses his magical ways to basically become O'Brien's lawyer. Because Odo served under Gul Dukat, he's considered one of those Cardassian employees. So Odo gets in there, and they just won't tell O'Brien what he's being charged with. And so they just keep coming at him about, are you going to admit what you did? Are you going to admit what you did? He's like, I didn't do anything. Miles is kind of racist against Cardassians, but he didn't actually do anything. Well, by the time we get to the end, the Maquis show up, which is kind of interesting because, again, they're keeping with the continuity. And they're like, this has nothing to do with us, but you should look at somebody else. And it turns out that in the very beginning of the episode, when O'Brien was on his way out, he runs into Boone, which is somebody he served with before, when they were in the war. So this would have been even before The Next Generation. And so it turns out that after the war, O'Brien basically wanted to enlist, so he went the Starfleet route, whereas Boone thought this was awful, so he quit, and they think Boone is part of the Maquis because of that. Well, they started doing research, and after Boone came back, he divorced his wife, he ran away from his family, his parents, just cut all ties. And when Miles and Boone ran into each other, Boone recorded his voice and started messing with stuff. And it turns out that all of this was just this big conspiracy, and that Boone was actually a Cardassian that was surgically altered and had been placed in our society as an agent, a secret agent, to kind of do something like this. And this whole thing was basically just to set up the Federation to look like a failure, and that they have nothing but racists and crazies in there. But then Sisko realizes who Boone is, shows up at the court hearing with Boone. The judge sees Boone, knows what's going on, is like, oh, never mind, court's adjourned. And then that's it. They realize that if they continue prosecuting Miles, Sisko's just going to be like, well, you surgically altered one of your people to look like us, which is something we've seen before. Even in the original series, they did that with the Klingons. So, I don't know. Overall, I thought it was a good episode. I just felt like it could have been a little bit better. The acting's great, the directing's great, all of it, that's great. It's just the story just needed a little tweaking, just for my taste. So for those who have seen this one, what did you guys think about the end where it's like, oh, the guy that O'Brien met was actually a Cardassian? Like, did you think it was a great twist, or would you have rather them have gone a different route and maybe it was the Maquis or something? Go ahead, let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for everything. You guys are all great. I will see you guys next time for the season finale, the Jem'Hadar.